guys, welcome. In today's screencast, we will be going over a really cool function provided by Postgresql, and I'll be coding up and showing you examples on how you can utilize it to write queries which needs ranges to be generated. Well, if you have already used this function before, as you can see on my left side, on your left side, it's generate series. If you have used this, great props to you. You already know what I'm talking about. If you don't, well, here we go. So Postgres provides this pretty cool construct, this pretty cool function, and they call it, they classify it under set returning function. The reason is because it returns more than a row. It returns a set of rows. Now Postgres provide multiple of set returning functions, but today we're going to be taking a look at generate series. Before we get started, let me show you, actually point you to the documentation so you can read about it, and I'm going to add this link in the description of this video as well. So set returning function, what I'm going to talk about is generate series, which has three kind of prototypes. We'll go through it. There's another one, and also they provided some cool examples, so that's pretty good. My example is pretty much gonna be similar. It's just a function, it's nothing, it's just about invoking the function. Anyway, I'm gonna put this in the link and you can read more about it if you want to. Getting back, the prototype of this function is pretty simple. It's generate series, and it takes three arguments. If you provide two, the step will be one. So you can provide a start value and you can provide an end value. Oops. And then you have to provide a step. Now if you don't provide a step, what will happen is it will take a step function of 1. Now if you are on the positive range of the number line, let's say your start is 1 and 6. Okay. There's another query if you don't want to actually run it. It's called perform, but we cannot do it right here. If we do that, it says there's nothing to run. Anyway, I won't get into that. In another video I can cover perform. So select generate series 1 to 6. Pretty simple. You saw it generated a series. It generated a set of rows. That's why it's a set returning function. I call it generators in Postgres. Now let's have some fun and try out the edge cases. What if we do 6 and 1? Okay. By the way, as I said, if the step function is not provided, which is the third argument, okay, step, the step by default is 1. What do you think will happen in this case? Let's try it. So as you saw, there's nothing to be returned. Let's try another thing. Okay, let's say -6 to -1. Okay, let's bring it here. Well, it generated this as well, -6, -4, -3, -2, -1. Okay, on the other side of the number line. Let's do the other way. What happens? What do you think? Well, again, it generated almost nothing. The reason is because when you are on the number line on the right side, you have to make sure that the first value is smaller than the second value. And when you are on the left side of the number line, you have to make sure that the first value is smaller again than the second value. Okay? -6 is smaller than -1. Right. Now let's try some step function, say. Step, adding some step, okay. Select generate series, okay. Then you have 1, 6, and I gave a step of 2. Okay, so there we go, we have 1 and 3 and 5. Cool. Similarly for negatives, I can do the same. Remember, this is not going to return anything. The first is should always be smaller than the second. Okay, it generated this series with -6, -4 and -2 with a step function of 2. Okay, you can use it for a lot of use cases. Actually, you can also use it for time. So let's say how we can use it for time. Let me add a header here, select generate series, and you can see, by the way, I use DataGrip and I prefer DataGrip over PGAdmin. If you like PGAdmin, good for you, do it. You can see that DataGrip provides a lot of these capabilities. So it provides, like, all these generate set returning function prototypes, so you can take a look at what are these, and things like that. So here the prototype is it already provided. So here what we're gonna do, we're gonna play around with some time value. By the way, actually, before I get into time value, let me start with decimals as well. Can we use this for decimals? Okay, so I'm not gonna copy, I'm just gonna write it again, so you guys can see the prototypes. Step is an integer, there's no step in the first one, second is step in an integer, and it also supports time. See the start time, stop time, and interval. First, let's try it with simple decimals. Let's see what happens. Well, it just generated 0.1 because, well, the step is 1 by default. Let me provide a step of 0.2. Let's see what happens. And there we go. It generated an overall set of rows following your step function of 0.2. And yes, you can apply it for decimals as well, which will be pretty handy if you're working with decimals or financials data and you want to join something and find out values which only find out rows which have these values only, 0.1, 0.3, 0.7, 0.9. Let's take a look at time. So I can start with 2021. Let's say I want to generate an overall time series, or actually rows of first of month of the whole 2021. How should I go about it? Well, I can start with this and I can convert it into timestamp. Okay, and then I can provide like a December value, so it would be pretty much 12/01. Yeah, and then I can add another timestamp here. Let's see what happens. Okay, function generate series does not exist. Timestamp without time zone. No function matches the given name and argument type. Why do you think that happened? It happened because, let's check the prototype again. All right, so we do generate series, and you can see that for the timestamp, the prototype takes the interval. There's no default value here, so you have to provide a value of interval. So let me go here. I'm gonna just break it down here. Okay, and then we have to provide a value of interval here. So I want the interval to be 1 month. Actually, let me write down 1 month. Okay, and as you can see, it generated the time series or rows or sets of times for the first of month for each of the month in 2021. Let's say you want days. Okay, I mean, it's pretty simple. I think you understand what will happen. It will generate pretty much everything for days. Now let's say I just want the date value. I just want 2021 01/01, 2021 01/02. Let me convert it to month. Okay, now of course you could utilize this in multiple use cases, but here let's say you're doing a financials, and you want to maybe join with or you want to join the total earnings made each month. Okay, so in that case, what you could utilize it, you can join it with day. Okay, so you do this, and you maybe do inner join, and then you group by the overall month. Okay, you can do that by doing the date trunk and then month, and then you group your results. But here, let's say I want to remove this 000. Okay, let me see if I can do a date and not timestamp. Let's see what happens. Well, it's kind of the same. Generated the dates for like the first day of each month for 2021. So now let's say I want just to extract the DD part of this overall generate series rows. So then now we can utilize it pretty easily. So let's say I store it inside a CTE, or I could just use a subquery. I like using CTE. So with series as, and then I'm gonna put the whole generated time series inside the CTE, and then I'm gonna use the CTE for whatever I want to use. Okay, so I grab this with series select series dot generate series, which are pretty much the columns. I convert it to a date from series. Let's see if it works or not. And there we go, we got all the series right there. Okay, so now you can utilize whatever might be your use case. Maybe you want to join this, select this date from series, inner join. Let's say you have a table called products, or actually I would say earnings. You get from monthly earning report. You can join it with earnings, and it would provide you, like proper count. For if there is like missing months in that report, then you can utilize coalesce function, and you can provide 0 values, and you can utilize this for creating your graphs, providing the data to your front end in order to create like charts and things like that. Lastly, I'm gonna remove this, and let me try showing you different step function. So if I do 6 months, well, this is it's gonna provide an overall step of 6, and it's gonna generate accordingly. So if I do a week, let's see what happens. Let me bring it here. So it provided a weekly breakdown. Okay, pretty cool. A weekly breakdown of all your weekly breakdown, which you could utilize for weekly breakdown report if you are building something like that. One more thing I would talk about is utilizing it in a function. So like or a block. So you can utilize it in for example, you are in a function inside a block. A use case could be for counter in select all from. You can have your generate series, and it provides you a range function for your iterator, for your for loop, 1 to 10, or you can have your whatever your range would be, and you can do like this. Okay, and then you can provide whatever you want here. Okay, your logic. So especially with for loops, I find it very helpful to utilize generate series to iterate over range of values, especially inside PostgreSQL functions. By the way, I'm gonna create kind of like a very bunch of videos. I'm gonna put it out on YouTube, and so yeah, this was all about generate series. It's a set returning function. Again, I'm gonna add the link in the description so you guys can read more. It's very beneficial, it's very helpful for you. It can work with all kinds of data type. Of course not string, I think, but yeah, for decimals, for integers, you can always check the prototype, you can see like this, like integer value, but it also worked for decimal as we saw. Next thing, you can utilize it for time, and you can generate a time series and corresponding data which can help you with respect to plotting a graph, weekly graph, monthly graph, and provide a really nice cached Postgres query which you can run for providing those insights to your team. One of the use case which I really like is utilizing this inside a for loop, especially inside a PSQL function. You can use generate series to loop over some bunch of values, provide whatever you want the step function to be, and your for loop will work pretty well. So yeah, give it a try. If you have any questions, let me know. By the way, this is available in recent Postgres as well as older Postgres, so start utilizing it. Let me know how it goes. All right, bye, take care.